Chocolatito and Cicerquet are going to fight as the co-feature. That's Chocolatito's mandatory defense for his WBC 115-pound title. That'll be the fifth time that Triple G and Chocolatito are on the same show. We feel that's the best combination in boxing when you have the two best pound-for-pound fighters. You know, that type of value for the fans that buy tickets and buy the pay-per-view to see that high caliber of talent is tremendous, and we were able to do it for one more time, as they say, with both Gennady and Chocolatito being undefeated. But I think you'll see in both fights, actually, because Cicerquet, even though he might not be that well known here in America, people are saying he's much more dangerous than Quadras, and we saw that Chocolatito, had a very tough fight winning the title against Quadras. So that'll be a tremendous fight. It'll be both Gennady and Chocolatito's toughest fights of their career.
How do you spell Cicerquet? How do you spell that?
I'm gonna text it to you.
Okay.
O-O-D-S.
Is it?
How close did you come, Tom, to making the Quadras rematch? Because I know it was a fight that was discussed also.
It was, honestly, the WBC said, because they had mandated the winner of the Quadras fight had to fight as mandatory in the next fight, but they said if they wanted to do the rematch, they would have allowed that. But Chocolatito had preferred to fight the mandatory, and then the winner of this fight has to fight Quadras in the next fight.
Gennady, you went to the Knicks game last night?
Yeah.
Tell me about that a little bit.
Not big interest, maybe first couple. Half games is interest, and last it's finished. I need a true game.
Sorry, back to the oh, he's still holding the Knicks, I can't tell. Usually writers here aren't huge fans of sanctioning bodies because of some of their decisions, but it seems like the only way to get a fight for Golovkin or a fight for even Chocolatito is these mandatories where the sanctioning body steps in. Is it the case now that because of their nature above the sport in their divisions that's essentially the way to get these fights?
It's I think a double-edged sword with the mandatories. Gennady made his IBF mandatory earlier in 2016, and there was a lot of criticism for having to fight Dominic Wade, but it's not our choice who the mandatories are. Luckily this time with the WBA, they mandated Danny Jacobs, who's a tremendous fighter. He's actually the WBA regular champion, and it's the response we've gotten has been great. Gennady is proud of all the titles that he's accumulated. That's been his goal that we've stated from the beginning. He wants to unify all the titles. That's the only way he can truly say he's the best 160-pound champion out there when there's no one else saying that they're a world champion.
Is it a promotional tool for you also as a cudgel to get some of these guys into the ring?
Well, in this particular case, it worked out that way. But there was never, I can say, in all the discussions that I've had with Team Jacobs and with Al Heyman, there was never any hesitation on whether they would take the fight or whether Danny wanted to fight Gennady, or naturally from Gennady's side, whether he was hesitant about fighting Danny Jacobs. Even though, as I mentioned, it's the toughest fight of both of their careers. The only holdup or only delay in actually making the fight was just working out the deal itself, and that's what we were able to do with Al, and I think both sides are happy with the way it turned out, and both fighters, what you'll see, are very willing to participate in the promotion and build up for this fight. So it'll be nice to see, especially having this on the HBO pay-per-view.
Yeah, last time Gennady fought at MSG, you didn't believe Trump was here. Will he be back?
That's correct. Actually, Trump came to his last two fights here in Madison Square Garden, main arena. There's no telling now that he's president of the United States or president-elect whether he'll come again. But he's a boxing fan, and he seems to appreciate Gennady's talents in the ring, and he came to the last two fights. But we haven't had any word if that might be the first time an acting or sitting president would be to a championship boxing match, at least in recent memories. But
Gennady, is Trump a good luck charm for you?
I'm a boxer. I'm not political, Just respect, of course, he's right now. He's president of the United States.
What did he tell you when he visited you in the locker room last time?
It's a big interest for me, he loves boxing, he loves sport, I respect. this is respect, not only for me, just for sport, you know.
He just, I mean, I could jump in. He just came to wish him good luck for the fight. That's really all it was. That's all they interacted. I mean, they were preparing to get ready for the fight, and it wasn't really, you know, and like Gennady said, he's not political. He's a citizen of Kazakhstan. He just, you know, he's a world champion boxer that wants to display his talents in the ring.
Absolutely. Gennady, what do you feel are Jacobs' strengths? What are the things you have to guard against in the fight against him? He's a bigger guy and a strong guy, obviously.
Oh, you know, this time, too much best for me. Best opponent, best plays, best TV pay-per-view, you know, HBO, best, you know, medicine, knockout boxing, you know, best opponent like Daniel. I think, you know, he has so many variants, like ideas for me. I believe, absolutely, I believe he's ready for win. You know, it's very interesting right now. I'm very excited. I'm a little bit lose interest for big fight. Yeah, right. My maybe last fight with Great Lemieux, this pay-per-view fight and unification fight is interest. And after David, you know, too much talking, too much trash talking. You know, right now I understand my situation. Right now I saw, you know, Daniel. He's champion. He's a really good guy, very good fighter. You know, right now I'm very excited, very interested.
You mean trash talking from fans? You mean? Or?
I'll tell you, Keith.
Not fan, yeah, you know what I mean. You know, like
From
promotions and blah blah blah, finance.
Canelo people?
Canelo,
well, what he's talking about is the
everybody.
fighters that haven't agreed to fight him in the ring.
Oh.
Trash talking that say, oh, we want to fight Triple G, and then when we, I mean, there's a long list. Whether you go down from Canelo to Saunders to Eubank to whoever it was
Too much fakes.
even Carl Froch, you know, jumped in at one point. But it seems like the people that are the least likely to fight him are the people that talk the most about fighting him, and that's the frustrating part, especially with Gennady, because he takes this very serious, takes his career very serious, and his training, his preparation, and he wants to show he's the best, and the only way he can do that is to fight the best. And you know, there have been some criticisms about some of the opponents on his resume, but it's certainly not anything to do with our side. You can't force. That's what I keep saying. You can't force someone to get in the ring with him. All we can do is make offers. We give Kell Brook a ton of credit, because when 3 of the top middleweights in the world turned down the opportunity to fight Gennady, he stepped up and he took the same exact deal that was on the table for Eubank. It wasn't like he got paid, you know, much, you know, significantly more money. He took the same exact deal. He said, "I'm undefeated welterweight champion. I want to fight the best," and he looked at Triple G as the best. And you saw the reaction. The tickets sold out in 11 minutes for the O2 Arena. So you see, not only did Gennady sell out MSG, he sold out the Forum in LA, sold out when he fought in London at the O2. So he's really the true definition of a world champion, and we're just excited about coming back to MSG, which he considers his home, because this is really where we launched his career here in New York at the Garden.
So, Tom, this fight originally there was talks about having it in the fall, winter time, and you mentioned you couldn't get the deal done, so now it's going to be in March.
Yep.
Gennady fought twice last year. Clearly, it frustrates him. You mentioned that there's a hunger for Gennady. So, anything that you could do differently this year to ensure he has 3 big fights?
You know, we got held up a little bit because of the mandatories last year. Dominic Wade was mandatory. Then Gennady was the mandatory for Canelo. There was a delay with those negotiations. And then naturally the mandatory was ordered from the WBA to fight Danny Jacobs. We did have December 10th on hold. There's no secret about that here at MSG. We weren't able to finalize the deal, but we feel now in the springtime it just has become a bigger event, especially now we're able to have Chocolatito as the co-feature. We wouldn't have had that in December as well. That's a big difference. And when you go on pay-per-view, on HBO pay-per-view, and you have a big arena like Madison Square Garden, arguably the most famous arena in the world and the mecca of boxing with such a history, you have to provide fans with value for their dollars, and you know, the type of matchups they want to see. There's no question that Gennady and Danny Jacobs are the 2 best middleweights in their division, the 2 best fighters in their division. No one argues. You know, everyone has like different rankings and everything. There's no argument that they're absolutely the 2 best in their division, and that's what you don't see these days. You don't see, quote unquote, the best fighting the best. It's very rare. And in this case, you have it with Gennady, and arguably you have it with Chocolatito, where he just moved up to 115 pounds. It doesn't sound like a big difference, 3 pounds, but you saw with Quadras. Quadras was almost towering over Chocolatito. It was 3 inches taller, so you could see those 3 pounds. Chocolatito moved up from 105 pounds. Now he's fighting at 115 pounds, and I'm sure Sisterket is going to be physically much bigger than him also. So Chocolatito has his work cut out for him. But these are the type of fights that the fans respond to, and we're going to be announcing the other fights on the show as they get finalized. The first step was making the co-feature. Now I can kind of go down and start making the other fights as well.
So there's a plan for Usyk to fight over those slots?
And nothing's confirmed yet with Usyk. He's been in discussions. He had his HBO debut on December 10th on the Hopkins show, or I think it was 17th actually. He had a knockout victory on HBO. He's potential, but there's the only 2 fights that are confirmed so far are Chocolatito and Gennady, and then we're going to start working our way down on that.
Gennady, did you watch Jacobs versus Peter Quillen, like when it happened?
I watch. Yeah.
What was your impression, just as a fan or a guy who's in the sport, obviously?
This is boxing. Just only one punch. This is boxing. Doesn't matter.
Gennady, Danny Jacobs said that both he and his son are fans of yours, and they respect you a lot. Are you a fan of Daniel Jacobs?
No, I saw him yesterday. Yeah. I take photo with him, with his son. He's a very good guy. Seriously, he stay in middleweight division. He's champion. He's very good guy. He has beautiful family. I respect him.
I can say everybody from our side respects Danny Jacobs a lot. Everything that he's went through, my discussions with Abel, obviously with Gennady. We met him the first time we met him at the WBA convention last year in Panama. Very gracious. We consider Danny and Gennady to be great ambassadors of the sport. You're not going to see tables flying at the press conference. We believe that if you put the 2 best fighters in the ring, the fans are going to respond to that. You don't need some antics or some promotional tools. This fight will sell itself, and the respect that we have for Danny is tremendous, and he has a tremendous amount of respect for Gennady, and there was no hesitation, as I mentioned before, there's no hesitation from either side to actually making the fight.
Abel, how would you compare Danny to the other guys around the smaller end? Would you say he's ahead of the best clearly, or?
I would say he's probably the best fighter we have fought to date, or we will fight to date. Better amateur, great right hand, good boxing knowledge, good boxing IQ. I think that when we fought here the last time with David Lemieux, I said that Gennady was going to be the smarter guy in the ring because he had better ring IQ. Danny's very smart. Danny's going to be a big threat to us, but as you noticed in Gennady's answer a little while ago, the frustration of him and people just talking, and Danny not talking and finally stepping up to the plate once it was mandated for him to fight. It's an exciting fight. He's excited about the fight, and that's very important for us in the gym.
Do you think Danny's power is comparable to Gennady's?
I think that he has a very good right hand. I think that he's a very sharp puncher, but nobody, and I've said it in the past, nobody goes 12 rounds with Gennady. He will eventually get to him. Danny's going to land his shots because this is boxing. It's part of the game. But Gennady will wear him down and will land his shot and will put him out.
Daniel feels that he's being overlooked, that you're looking past him to a bigger fight. How do you stay focused since this is such a huge fight?
No, you know why? Because Daniel, he lives in the middleweight division. He's bigger than me. He's taller than me. I understood. Canelo, okay, Canelo's Canelo. Canelo maybe before or huge. No, today is Daniel. My focus on Daniel Jacobs. No, I know who is it.
I can categorically say that Abel and Gennady are 100% focused on March 18th, and Danny Jacobs. It's my job to look forward and see what's potentially out there in the future. But everybody knows if Gennady doesn't win March 18th, every negotiation that I hold is out the window. So they're focused 100% on Danny Jacobs and really consider him. Look, Danny Jacobs has 12 knockouts in a row. Gennady Golovkin has 23 knockouts in a row. I think that might be some record, Mike, where 35 knockouts in a row in the combined between the two fighters.